One of the, if not the dumbest thing to come out of the BLM movement is the tearing down of statues. I mean, how bad and stupid does your movement have to get for the Washington Post, one of the most progressive woke outlets out there, to call it absurd? And the reason being is because they've made no distinction of which statues to destroy. If it's in the past, if it had anything to do with slavery, regardless of the history of the person, they tear it down. I mean, they tore down a statue of Ulysses S. Grant, the man who defeated the Confederacy, the man that pretty much destroyed the Klan at the time. Let's tear down his statue. He happened to own a slave before the war. Yeah, it doesn't matter that he risked his life to put an end to slavery altogether, right? That doesn't matter. Just the fact that if not for him and the rest of the Union, you wouldn't have these freedoms that you have today. But that doesn't matter, does it? What about this one? Black Lives Matter rioters in Wisconsin removed the head of and destroyed a statue of Colonel Hans Christian Hegg, a Norwegian immigrant who spent his life fighting slavery before dying in battle while leading Union soldiers in the American Civil War. During his life, Hegg served as Wisconsin State Prison Commissioner and strongly advocated for career and vocational training for all convicts. His opposition to slavery led him into service during the war against the Confederacy, where he was often commended by superior officers for his bravery. Rioters who tore down the monument scrawled "Black is beautiful" across the remaining pedestal. Abraham Lincoln, also destroyed. Where does it end? And this is one of the many reasons why I just can't get on board with BLM. When you do shit like this, how the hell am I supposed to take you seriously? Because here's my opinion on statues. As far as the ones that I think should be taken down, I don't feel like Confederate statues have any business being up anymore. America as it is today is Union country. We won the war. We're all people of the Union. So Confederate statues, yeah, you can toss them in a museum, but as far as just being erect in public still, it has no business being up. Now, does that feel like I believe that you BLM protesters have the right to go out and tear them down because I don't like them? Of course not. We're not fucking Neanderthals. We have a society. We have due process. If you want them torn down, take it to City Hall, get it down to a vote, and I will vote with you. Let's vote together to get them torn down. But sadly, as much as I detest these statues still being up, I detest you people and the avenue you've chosen to conduct the removal of these statues even more. So if it were down to a choice between them still being up and you tearing them down, I'd rather they still be up because we're better than that. And that brings us into the subject of this video. Leftist website releases cringe instructional video for bringing down statues. Wonderful. Leftist digital media website Mashable has published a handy video for its readers on how to take down raw sass statues and has been allowed to promote it widely with absolutely no recourse on social media, because of course not. The radical left echo chambers that are social media probably love this kind of crap. I love how these clowns frame it as hypothetical too. If you were to hypothetically come across a statue that was in need of removal, this is how you'd get it done. Alright, let's take a look at this nonsense.
Right now, we're living through a societal revolution against racism in almost every form. Part of that reckoning also involves acknowledging that a lot of our historical figures, regardless of their legacy, were pretty damn racist.
They start out by basically saying like, oh, our history is so raw-sass, so we need to take down raw-sass monuments. In a lot of places, the cities already did it themselves, but if the lawmakers are not budging, people need to take matters into their own hands. Yeah, by going to City Hall and going through due process, not by tearing them down yourselves, you fucking idiots.
Obviously, we're not telling you to commit any crimes, and we also can't tell you to deface any property. But we thought it'd be interesting to look at a purely hypothetical way to safely remove a statue.
Now, we can't tell you to go out and do this, but hypothetically, if you wanted to go out and do this, this is how you would do it. Like, imagine if this were an instructional video on something else completely illegal. Like, we're not telling you to go out and dispose of a body, but if you wanted to, this is hypothetically how you would do it. Like, seriously?
So, tip number 1, you're gonna want to use chains, not rope. Wrap the chain around the top end of the statue. You'll want enough slack on both sides. For, say, a 20-foot statue, you should have at least 40 people involved in this takedown. It's also important that everyone wears gloves, and most importantly, stays a safe distance away from the statue. You really don't want to be underneath the toppling statue.
Be safe, use gloves. During your vandalism, make sure that you're wearing the proper gear. God forbid you're not wearing the proper gear and taking safety precautions when you're out there committing them crimes.
Tip number 2, use a really upbeat song. A rhythmic song, Dr. Parsik said, would work best.
Oh yeah, make sure you're listening to Beyonce or some crap when you're toppling these statues down.
Tip number 3, get the f*** out of the way. Seriously, make sure you have enough distance between yourself and the falling statue. A protester in Portsmouth, Virginia was already gravely injured when a piece of falling statue hit him. Really, we can't emphasize this enough. Do not be underneath a toppling statue.
Tip number 4, do not teach people how to commit crimes. Ah, good God, the lunacy of all of this. I mean, to be fair, the end of the video was talking about things that I was just talking about. I didn't even know they would bring that crap up, but Confederate monuments deserve to be in a museum, not erected in public. And instead of taking matters into your own hands, you should petition lawmakers to have them taken down themselves. But the problem is when you're putting this at the end of a video where you're technically inciting people to do it themselves. Regardless of how many times you say hypothetically or whatever the hell you're trying to say to deflect that you are actually inciting people, you still are, by framing the removal process in a positive light at the beginning and middle of the video. Making the last portion of the video where you're telling the proper avenues to take in order to get this done properly just null and void, and this whole thing is just irresponsible. Now we can't tell you to go out and do this or to deface public property, but make sure you're listening to a nice upbeat song when you're doing it. Seriously, Mashable? Like, seriously? Go fuck yourself with this nonsense. Anyway, leave a comment down below, smash that like button, and subscribe and all notifications on so I can see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you there.